what's up? It's Alexander Madison, running back for the Minnesota Vikings, and you're watching Clock Management.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. It's October 2nd, 2019. I'm Justin, and as always, I'm joined by Perry.
You know, Justin, we're not socks, but I do think we make a great pair.
We do. We make clock management.
We do. The management team starts here.
Right?
But you know where it ends?
With all of you out there.
That's right, with our subscribers.
See, and
Justin,
that's why we're a good pair.
Tell them why they should subscribe.
Yeah, so make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube because we're giving away a Tyreek Hill autographed jersey to one of our subscribers. And if you just want to listen for funsies, we have Spotify, Stitcher, Google, and Apple that you could also listen to us on. We got social media as well. We got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So, come talk to us. We get lonely.
Yeah. Tell me what you're thinking. Fantasy questions.
Yeah.
Video game questions. Yeah. I play a ton of video games, guys.
Comic book stuff. I'm really into that stuff.
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars conspiracy theories. I love those.
I think during the off season we're gonna have to do a few Star Wars episodes, Justin.
For sure. We'll somehow link football in. I don't know how yet, but we'll do it.
Bottom line, we're extremely entertaining. Just follow us.
So yeah, that takes care of that portion. What's new in your life, Perry? We haven't spoke in I think a decade.
Yeah, it feels like it for sure. For me, not a whole lot. I'm almost over my cold. I'm at 90%. I got a little cough.
Yeah, you sound a lot better.
Yeah, sorry if you hear me cough a little bit while you guys are listening. I'm trying my best. I got a glass of water, so that might help. Otherwise, I've just been hanging out and growing my beard. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Doing great.
What about you? You had a trip?
Yeah, I actually just got home. I went to Vegas for the last few days. My wife had a business trip out there, so we went out there and did some work.
Business trip.
Yeah,
work.
That was one day. We're out there for 4 days, so it was a great time. I posted a couple pictures too, but yeah, it was fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah. You want to take us through some football news?
Yeah. Fortunately, not a ton of news, because usually the news is bad news when it comes to fantasy football.
That's true.
We didn't have any major injuries this week, thank God. I think that's the first week that we were able to say that, especially after all his quarterback injuries. But
yeah,
I guess the big one to talk about is John Ross. John Ross was placed on IR, kind of out of nowhere almost. I know with the shoulder injury that he suffered on Monday night that they're expecting him to miss a few games. I interpreted that as 2 to 3. He's going on to IR. So there's a chance, we don't see him again this season, depending on how that works out. And with AJ Green expected to miss at least 2 more weeks, it's all Tyler Boyd at this point. I don't know. Aiden Tate, are you interested in picking him up at all?
No, not really.
Yeah, I just don't think there's enough in that offense for the 4th wide receiver in the depth chart. So I expect Tyler Boyd to get peppered with targets, 13, 14, 15 targets right now.
Yeah, that'll be great.
The other guy placed on IR, we don't talk about kickers very often, but Steven Gostkowski is fantasy relevant. Being the kicker for New England, he's consistent every year. He's been placed on IR. So basically the moral of the story is go find another kicker. Maybe even the kicker that replaces the Gostkowski. I don't know who it is.
I don't either, but whoever it is, not a bad pick.
Yeah, probably a decent option. So
yeah, I'll tweet it out later once I actually look up who it is.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't put a lot of stock into kickers.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Justin Tucker a lot. He seems like a cool dude. There's my fantasy analysis. Christian Kirk won't be playing week 5. That's unfortunate. You and I both like Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
But I really like Larry Fitzgerald now. So
right.
keep playing Larry Fitzgerald, guys. He's still there.
Yeah, those old men, they're killing it this year.
I know. Frank Gore. I watched Frank Gore bust some huge runs this weekend, and it was just like,
it was shocking to see
look
him
at this
still.
guy go.
Yeah, he wasn't slow either. He was, well, I mean, he's still Frank Gore, but he was
Yeah.
still the Frank Gore from, a decade ago. It was amazing.
Yeah. The same with LaShawn McCoy, actually, now that
Yeah.
we're talking about it, right? Like, LaShawn McCoy looked like LaShawn McCoy from 5 years ago.
Yeah. The only one who wasn't that way was Adrian Peterson this year,
Oh my gosh. Well, it's hard to get the Walker, through the offensive line.
especially in Washington.
Yeah. Some good news. Tyreek Hill returned to practice today. So, right, I think that the timetable that was given at the start seems to be fairly accurate here. He could play week 5, but I wouldn't expect it, and I also wouldn't start him.
Yeah.
So
I think they'll be cautious with it because they're not hurting without him.
Exactly. They're still undefeated. They want him in the playoffs. You want him in the playoffs, the fantasy playoffs, that is. You want him to wait, right? Week 6 is fine. Start him week 6. If he plays week 5, that means week 6 he's probably going full tilt here. I'm an owner of him, so trust me, I'm invested. Saquon Barkley's jogging, which I think is really early. I think a lot of people didn't expect it. Don't go crazy thinking he's going to play next week, right? He's just jogging, full contact, full drills, making cuts, that sort of thing. That's a long ways off still, but it's good news. It means we will probably see him again this year. I know there were some people saying that we might not. But on that note, Wayne Gallman, I think you and I may have been wrong about
Right?
Wayne Gallman. Yeah.
God, put our foot in our mouth on that one.
Yeah, I'm willing to admit when I was wrong. Wayne Gallman looked good. He looked good. And
and the team fed him the ball, which that was the biggest shocker to me was there was no second running back. It was the Wayne Gallman show.
Yeah, I don't think, still, I stand by, you'll never get Saquon numbers from him because Saquon is a generational talent. But yeah, Wayne Gallman, I think he's probably available in about 20% of leagues. That's 20% too much. If he's available in any of your leagues, just go pick him up. Even if you're like, I don't need to start a running back. You don't need your friends to start one together. So
yeah.
And then Golden Tate back from suspension. This is good news. Maybe waiver priority.
Love it.
Yeah, waiver priority. You might want to pick up Golden Tate if he's available.
Yep.
I think Golden Tate's talented, so I think it hurts Sterling Shepard a little bit. But Golden Tate, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. With Daniel Jones there, it's a whole new ball game. Excuse me.
Yeah, and like I said, that's what I loved about it. He adds a new dynamic there, so
yeah,
it's been a boost to every player on that team.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes.
I hate that nickname. He needs a better one.
Why? That's a good nickname.
I feel like it's too generic.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, his mom came up with it. Come on, dude.
Oh, I didn't know that. I feel kind of bad now.
Yeah, I mean,
but I still stand by it.
My mom would have called me like Perry Pennies.
I love it. See, now I could get behind that. Okay.
All right. What about news nobody cares about?
Oh, first, real quick, one thing that you didn't talk about was Gordon came back.
Yes.
Yeah, and I had
he came back to watch a very good football game.
Yeah, I had some people reach out to me on Twitter, I think Sunday morning, to ask if they should start him. I told them not to. I hope they took my advice. I have him in a league, and I didn't start him.
Susie Dixon, wife of Darian, future guest of the show. Why did you start Melvin Gordon?
No, thank you, Susie. I appreciate that. I played Susie this week.
Why did you start Melvin Gordon?
Woo!
Susie, you need to listen to this show. All right?
Except for when you play me, then don't listen that week.
Beginning to end.
All right. Well, yeah. So now let's get into some news no one cares about. I've been getting a lot of Minshew facts lately sent to me. I'm compiling all of them. So next episode, I'm going to be giving it like that. No other news no one cares about. Just guard or Beowulf Minshew facts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
I've got like 10 so far, so it'll be a little bit longer news no one cares about than normal. But
Even better.
for today, we got Tom Brady uses the same shoulder pads from college, which are
Yeah.
older than 5 of his teammates.
1995. I saw that today too. That's hilarious.
Right? That's awesome. Bradley Chubb, did you see that he did that amazing dance during the false start? Yeah.
He's just dancing and pointing at the guy.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. It's amazing.
Let's tweet it out.
Yeah. And then last piece of news no one cares about. A vendor at the Miami Dolphins game was arrested for charging a man $724 for 2 beers. Yeah, apparently when the guy handed him his card, instead of swiping it on the normal like credit card thing, he used his own personal like thing he had on his phone behind the counter and charged the dude $724. And then the dude got an alert during the game from his bank.
What? How do you?
And I just want to know how he came up with $724. It just seems like such an obscure number.
Right, because there's no way 2 beers only cost $7.24.
Right.
At a football game. So he could have been like 724 and swiped the card 724. There's no way.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Last time I went to a football game,
the Dolphins just continue to lose in every way.
Right, the Dolphins. You know what? They're winning this week because they're on bye week.
Yeah, this their best outlook so far.
Yeah, I think they could come out of it with a win this week.
Well, it won't be a loss. That's a change.
Yeah. Poor Dolphins.
All right, so that's all the news no one cares about. Next, I got a couple players I just want to go through for waiver wire. There's not a ton of great waiver wires out there for this week, but a couple players that maybe if you're in a deeper league that you might want to pay attention to. Perry already mentioned Golden Tate. That's probably the most high-profile player. Outside that, I got Deontay Johnson for the Steelers. He did great, and they got that new quarterback there. Maybe you don't know, he may be his new favorite target.
What's that quarterback's name, Justin?
Rudolph.
Ooh, I'm impressed. What's his first name? What's
Kyle.
his first?
Yeah, see, I did a little bit of homework.
Well done, buddy.
During my drinking in Vegas.
Yeah.
Next, we got Jalen Samuels, backup running back in Pittsburgh as well.
In deeper leagues, he should have been owned already.
Yeah, I own him in our Dynasty League. I drafted him at the beginning of the season. But yeah, I think he's someone that you should, if he's not owned in a deeper league, then you want to grab him.
Yeah, if James Conner goes down for any reason, Jalen Samuels is kind of like an auto RB2. So I would definitely own Jalen Samuels.
Yeah.
Just in a deeper league, if you have a small bench or something like that, like we do in our main league, there might not be room there. But
absolutely.
Yeah.
And on that same note, but probably an RB1 if the guy ahead of him goes down, we got Alexander Madison. He just continues to thrive. We've been talking about him since the beginning of the season. So if you've been listening to us, then there's no surprise there. We've been telling you to go pick him up. Yeah,
I really like Alexander Madison. I think the biggest issue with him is the fact that we can't see him at his full potential because we have Dalvin Cook ahead of him.
Yeah, who's doing amazing.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about Dalvin Cook. I want to see our boy.
Yeah, and we will.
Out there.
I'm sure we'll see him thrive eventually,
Yeah, really good player.
And then the last one I got for the waiver wires is A.J. Brown again.
We did it again.
Yeah.
It was Tyler Lockett, and it was A.J. Brown.
Yeah, AJ Brown, he looked great week one. He looked amazing. I was talking about how he looked like an NFL wide receiver, and then they just stopped throwing him the ball. It wasn't anything he was doing. He still looked great out there, but they didn't want to give him the ball for whatever reason, and so I kind of lost faith in him.
Yeah.
Looked great this week though, so
2 touchdowns this week, and
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I want to tell you guys to go get him, but again, my only fear there is Mariota because there's nothing wrong with what AJ Brown's done this entire time. He's been the same player. It's just them getting him the ball.
Yeah, I don't know. I understand the logic of going and picking up AJ Brown, but I'm not doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, in a deeper league, I might get him if I got room
Sure.
on my bench, but I'm not starting him this week.
Yeah,
Unless I'm desperate for a wide receiver or something with bye weeks.
absolutely.
All right, so that takes care of our waiver wire piece. Now we're going to get into the what I'm going to call this episode, which is feast or famine.
Yeah, we're going out to dinner tonight, aren't we?
Yeah. So it's the end of the first quarter of the season. So
Right, 4 games.
yeah. Whew. So Perry and I wanted to go out for a feast. So we went out to a nice restaurant. We sat down. We're excited. I ordered a steak. Perry ordered a steak. We got some steaks coming, 2 steaks. And then imagine our disappointment when the waiter carries out these 2 charred bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our first piece, we're going to talk about that. That's going to be our burnt pieces. Players that you drafted high that were drafted high. That were just disappointing. Yeah, they're burnt.
Yeah. Well, you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it, Perry.
Well, the first piece of charred steak that I received in the draft, I was very excited. Looking at the menu, I ordered this player up, and all they've done so far is burn me, and that's Sony Michel.
Yeah.
I was very high on Sony Michel coming into the season. I was very high on Sony Michel during the draft. I got Sony Michel in a few leagues. I know you have Sony Michel in our main league.
Yeah.
And he's a burnt charred steak at this point. I think we expected minimum RB2, right? We would have been disappointed if we got like mid RB2 numbers out of him.
Yep.
But he's completely fantasy irrelevant at this point. He's borderline droppable.
Yeah, I considered it this week.
And the reason is because we have no idea out of the 5 running backs that New England has, which one of them is going to get 2 touchdowns, which one of them is going to get 20 carries. And it seems that it's not going to be Sony Michel, except maybe 3 games all season. And you having to pick those 3 games is nearly impossible. Yeah. Sony Michel for me right now is a trade. Just trade him away because his value is so low. Like, just see if you can go get like Devin Singletary.
I tried to trade him to, I believe, everybody. I don't think I sent you a trade, but I believe I sent everybody else in our league a trade, and they all declined it.
Yeah, Sony Michel, he burnt me. I'm done with Sony Michel this year. I'd probably drop him. Unless you're in a deep dynasty league, let's see how it works out next year. Stash him, sure, whatever. You have a large bench, but if I need something now, it isn't Sony Michel.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah.
My first piece of charred steak that I cut into this season was Aaron Rodgers.
Oof.
Yeah, he was going off the board in drafts as the QB, 2 on average. Currently, Aaron Rodgers is the QB 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not unless if you're in a 16-man league and you have Aaron Rodgers, you have the worst quarterback out of everyone you're playing against. If you're not in a 16-man league, you have a quarterback you shouldn't have.
Yeah, I think that's even with that huge yardage game that he had.
Yeah.
Last week.
Absolutely. And we keep saying it on the show, that's exactly why you don't draft a quarterback early.
Yeah.
Some of the quarterbacks ahead of him currently are Kyler Murray, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston. Like, those are quarterbacks that nobody thinks of as being great quarterbacks. So I mean, at this point, you can drop Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
and pick up another quarterback. He's not even trade worthy because nobody's going to trade you for him at this point.
No, I mean, unless you can find a Packers fan. What's up, Darian? I
Yeah.
completely agree with you. I do think that by the end of the season, Aaron Rodgers will be a top 10
So
quarterback.
I have that exact same thing written as my next sentence. That by
Okay.
the end of the season, I
Yeah.
do see improvement and he will finish as a top 10. But the
Yeah.
thing is, you don't want to sit there and wait on it. Like you need, as especially at quarterback which is a streamable position. Yeah,
Yeah.
he might be able to get you a top 10, numbers by the end of the season, but you could just start a different quarterback every week and get top 5,
Exactly.
combined between those. It's just a better
Exactly.
strategy.
Like if you streamed Jared Goff last week, who threw it 67 times, you were happy, right?
Yeah.
So just stream quarterbacks. If you drafted Aaron Rodgers, my condolences. Make sure you listen to the show more often because you know not to draft quarterback early, and that you wouldn't be in this problem. But
Yeah, and
just
you'd be getting beat by people who are streaming Marcus Mariota and Kyler Murray.
yeah, who I like this week, by the way, Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you want to get into your second one
Yeah,
here, Perry?
yeah. So I don't know why I ordered 2 steaks. I must have been very hungry,
Yeah, I was.
but I ordered this steak thinking it's a filet mignon. Oh wow, I shouldn't even try to
Yeah.
say that word. Right? No, I was very excited for this prime cut,
There
and
you
it
go.
came out as just a blackened steak, right? Well done with ketchup. This steak,
God.
and that's Stephon Diggs. I know that Stephon Diggs was the better of the 2 receivers last week. I know that, but there is no way that I am going to predict that sort of week from him going forward.
He didn't practice today.
There you go. And when Stephon Diggs has any kind of injury is on the injury report at all, he's terrible. He's never been good. The main issue isn't Diggs itself. It's just like Sony Michel, both talented players, right? It's the fact that their system is a run-heavy system with a very talented running back and a very talented second running back.
And a
Getting
great
the ball to work.
defense, too,
Right,
that
getting the
keeps the
ball
other
to work.
team from scoring.
Right. And the great defense. Kirk Cousins, they don't want him to throw the ball 35 times a game. They don't. They want him to throw the ball 20 times a game max. And you have Adam Thielen on the other side who's having a mediocre season, right? At best, he's having an okay season. You're still having to start him. But you're not starting Stephon Diggs anymore. You're not owning Stephon Diggs anymore. Again, same policy applies to Sony Michel. If you're in a deep dynasty league with a large bench, hold on to Stephon Diggs. If he's floating around on the waivers, go pick him up. He's probably not if you're in a deep league, but stash him on the bench, see what happens next year. But going forward, unless Adam Thielen gets hurt, which I don't hope for, I never hope for a player to get hurt, I'm not playing Stephon Diggs. And I drafted Stephon Diggs to be at least a number 2 wide receiver. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
He's left me hungry.
Yeah. Speaking of leaving you hungry, we got OJ Howard. Again, we told you not to draft tight ends early either, and this is why. He was the number 4 tight end going off the board.
Worked out for me.
Yeah, right? It worked out for both of us. And then right now, OJ Howard is the 28th tight end. 28. There's 32 teams. Like, he is the 28th tight end. Tight ends above him are Tyler Higbee, Hayden Hurst, Dawson Knox, and I could go on and on for 25 more of them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I know you, or well, I hope if you drafted him, you've already moved on. I know Perry and I both have in the same league. So please do. Like, drop him. You could pick up a tight end. There's tons of them out there. It's a deep tight end year. Like, outside of the top couple, there's still plenty you could get that are going to do just fine, and all of them better than OJ Howard. All of them.
Don't be like Justin, and I don't want to call you out, Justin, but I passed that burnt steak covered in ketchup
Oh,
And I
yeah.
just left it on the table, and Justin pulled it towards him
I had to give
and
it a
took a
try.
bite,
I was
and
like,
they didn't like it.
yeah, I was like, maybe, Perry just got a bad piece. No, the whole thing was burnt. The
Yeah,
entire steak, not one piece of it was good.
I'm
So,
sorry. There are too many young tight ends right now that are showing greatness or goodness.
or even mediocreness.
Yeah, out there that you could pick up. Will Disley. Go pick up Will
That's
Disley
who
and
I
start.
got.
Yes, I got Mark Andrews, but obviously he's
Yeah.
probably owned in every league. I got him after week 1. But there's too many young guys that are showing the ability to play tight end better than OJ Howard that you can probably go pick up right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But
Oof. Now that,
luckily, we after getting those burnt steaks, we sent those back. We weren't going to eat those. We got rid of those, sent them back, and they brought out our main course.
oh yeah,
Yeah, so Perry, who's your first main course you got?
dude, my main course, my MVP that I don't own is Dalvin Cook.
I do own it.
I own him in a league,
Yeah.
but not, you got to focus on one league sometimes.
Yeah. We have our
But,
main league that
yeah.
we usually are referencing when we talk about football.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, man. Don't think that there's anything wrong with Dalvin Cook because of last week. All right, like he still did okay, still found the end zone. I know it wasn't a huge production week like we're getting used to with Dalvin Cook, but it was the Bears defense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The Bears defense is going to do that to everybody all year long. I promise you. I promise. You're going to be disappointed if your number one quarterback or number one running back is playing the Bears defense. He is incredible. Like I was doubtful going into the season at how good Dalvin Cook would be because I'm so concerned about injuries, right? But it's obvious that the talent is insane. In our league, here are his stat lines for the first 3 weeks, right? 111 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Week 2, 154 yards rushing with a touchdown. Week 3, 110 yards rushing with a touchdown. Week 4, only 35 yards rushing with a touchdown. And he's amassed about 17 targets in the passing game. So he's incredible. He's an every week start. He's going to be a league winner. I guarantee you, if he's healthy, he's a league winner.
God, I hope so.
And if he's not healthy, Alexander Madison's going to be your league winner. This team wants to run the ball. They're doing it, and they're doing it effectively, and they're not going to stop. So, yeah, my MVP, my main course is Dalvin Cook.
Yeah. I love him. I was big on him before the season, and nothing has changed for me.
Yeah.
All right, but my main course is CMC, Christian
Yeah.
McCaffrey. I mean, me and Perry both had him as our RB1 before the season started, and
Playing out that way.
oh boy, has he delivered.
Yeah.
I mean, week 1 he came out there and showed us why we chose him as our RB1. Like, not just the numbers he put up, but watching him do it, the way just breaking tackles. It was like nobody can tackle this man.
He might be the most athletic player in the NFL right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, he's on a different level than everyone else on that field.
Yeah.
And it's apparent every time you watch. Like, looking at his stats is great because he has, amazing stats. But watching him actually play and how he's getting those stats is just mind blowing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who his quarterback is. Doesn't matter, who else is out on that field with him. He's going to succeed.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the one reason I saw that you picked him, right, and obviously I wanted to pick somebody else, but the only reason I wouldn't have picked him is I'm concerned about the workload. It's not sustainable. I'm worried that he's going to get injured. He hasn't shown anything like that, like he's wearing down or anything. But God, the Panthers need to find another way to move the ball just to give him a break because come week 14, 15, 16, oof.
Yeah.
I really don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah, but right now I'm gonna enjoy that ride.
Oh yeah,
Like I think like you said, the Bears defense, those top defenses, these players are that we're talking about are players you're going to start no matter what. When they play those top defenses, you're not looking to put them on your bench. You
right.
expect their work or their production to go down facing those elite defenders.
Yeah,
But you're still going to start them because their production, like being lowered, is still more than everyone else who you would be starting.
yeah. Dalvin Cook against the Bears still scored 16 fantasy points and half point PPR.
Yeah.
You know, like yeah. And with CMC, I mean, you and I both predicted him as our number one. That's who we both picked. It was pretty solid. I don't think either of us were really wavering on that. And yeah, through the first quarter, there's no doubt he's been the MVP.
Yeah, and the RB2 right now is Saquon Barkley, so he's not going to be, making any progress on, towards
Right.
CMC.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, once me and Perry finished those main dishes, though, the waiter came walking over to us, and he asked if we wanted to see a dessert menu, and you know what?
We did.
Yeah, we did. We're like, yeah, let's grab that dessert menu.
Yeah. You don't always want to see the dessert menu. I would say most of the times I get asked,
Yeah.
but I wanted to see the dessert menu tonight.
Yeah, he brought it up, and it was like, you know what? I do.
Yeah,
I really, really do.
I didn't expect this walking in, but now I want it.
Yeah. And so our desserts are players who you didn't expect to have a blow up season. You didn't expect them to be great this year, but they did.
By golly, through the first 4 weeks, they've been a wonderful surprise.
Yeah.
And my first dessert is Mark Andrews
Yeah.
at tight end. Finally, we have another tight end that stepped up into the upper echelon of tight ends, right? There's finally somebody else to be excited about. We're not worried about Gronkowski. Kelsey's doing his thing. Ertz is doing his thing. Kittle's doing his thing.
He's
right?
doing great. He just hasn't found the end zone. That's really
Right.
his biggest issue.
Right. Mark Andrews is getting peppered with targets. He's a young player with a young quarterback. They're growing together. They're learning together. They obviously have some kind of rapport because he's constantly being thrown to in the end zone, out of the end zone. It doesn't matter where they're at, right? He's going to score touchdowns. He's going to score points. I honestly think right now I'm in first place in our league, Justin. I think that the reason I'm in first place is because I picked up Mark Andrews.
Yeah, you picked him up week 1. I had a waiver in for him. I was so upset. I'm like, damn it. That's why I got OJ Howard after you dropped him, because I had a waiver in for the same guy you got, and I'm like, oh no, what do I do now?
Yeah. The dessert was. It's supposed to be something that we didn't expect, a player we didn't expect to do well, and we're so happy that they did, and it's working out. And I couldn't think of a better person for me than Mark Andrews, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way.
Yeah.
I like Mark Andrews a lot going forward.
So. Yeah, I agree. My first dessert is McLovin. I know it's
Nice.
McLaurin, but McLovin, that I think that name fits him. It's just one name, no first name, just McLovin.
Yeah.
He's played 3 weeks, and he has not gotten you less than 14 fantasy points. He's had 7 targets every one of those weeks, and at least 5 receptions each one of those games, if not more, and 1 touchdown every game that he's played. Like, it's dependable. Like, as a wide receiver, that is fantastic to get that that level of dependableness.
Dependability.
That's the word.
I got you, buddy. That's why we're a pair.
Yeah, that consistency is crazy. He has no competition at wide receiver there in Washington. He's the only player of value there. So it's just encouraging that their offense has to go through him. If they want to move the ball, it's going to him. So that's great.
Yeah, I honestly think we'll talk about my next guy here in a second, but I like McLovin a lot going forward too. I think that he's probably like the next big wide receiver.
Yeah.
The next one that we're going to be talking about is he elite, right? That's going to be the next question that we're going to be asking over the next couple of years. And he might be the guy. He might be. My next dessert is one that I really didn't expect. In my notes here, I said DJ Chark. Who? Right? Because I think if either of us had talked about DJ Chark going into the season, that would have been our response was who?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Right. So here's just DJ Chark's fantasy numbers in a half-point PPR over the first 4 weeks. 22.6, 15, 15.6, and then against Denver last week, already put up 6.4. Okay, we're disappointed. Yeah. But it's Denver, right? It's Denver. We know that Denver has a good defense. We're kind of expecting that. None of their games have been high scoring, so I'm not worried about that. I think that he's easily the number one receiver on this team.
And you know what the best part about getting a DJ Chark is?
You spent nothing on him.
No, my favorite part is it comes out drizzled with a little Minshew on top.
That is the best part. You're right. Oh my gosh. All right. In a smaller league, like our silly little 8-team league that we're in, I might not be starting DJ Chark, right? I understand that. This section isn't supposed to be about like MVPs, right? We already covered our MVPs. These are about the guys that you're like, man, I did not expect to get something this nice off the waiver wire week 1, week 2, whatever it may have been. But in a 10 or 12 team league, you're starting him, man. He's found the end zone 3 times in 4 games. I think he's going to continue to find the end zone. And I think he's going to continue to get better. So DJ Chark, that's my second dessert. I got 2 desserts, man.
Yeah, I know. I went big too. I got 2 desserts here. My second dessert, I got it straight out of Baltimore. I brought in the Mark Ingram.
Nice.
Yeah, for years.
Nice. You finally bought in.
Yeah, I know, finally. For years, Mark Ingram was my old reliable on the Saints. You know, you could depend on him to get you 40 yards and a touchdown week in and week out. He's getting you 10 fantasy points every week. You know, that was his floor and also his ceiling. So, it was great. I loved having him on my team as my flex. Like, I just knew what he was bringing to the table. I lost my spot. Yeah, but right now he's the running back 5.
Yeah.
Like, on a run heavy offense. Like you were just talking about how they're throwing the ball to Mark Andrews. And I love that team. Like, they got that short throw and run the ball mentality. And it's great for tight ends, running backs, and quarterbacks because he's running the ball as well. And then they brought in a deep threat, which helps stretch that field out. The defenders can't this was my concern at the beginning of the season, was that the defenders were just going to play, everyone in the box, the entire 11, because there is no deep threat. But with Marquise Brown out there stretching the field, they can't do that. Yeah. So I'm loving just that whole situation in Baltimore. And Mark Ingram he's benefiting from this. I don't expect him to drop much lower than, the number 5 spot where he's at right now. Yeah, I think I expect him to go a little lower, but I do expect him. Yeah, I don't expect him much lower. I'm saying I still think he'll be a top 10. Yeah. Yeah, he'll be an RB1 as long as he's healthy for the rest of the season, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. All right. Okay. And those were desserts. Yeah, those are our desserts. And, we're delicious. A little bit. Yeah, those were great. There's a few dishes we wanted to try, but, they weren't quite ready yet. We really wanted to try it. It was on the menu. We asked about it. They told us, I'm sorry, these items are still marinating. Yeah. So we got our players that are still marinating. These are players that they haven't done so hot, but we're not giving up on them yet. They're still marinating. They're going to come out great. We'll be back next week to try it, right? Exactly. Yeah. The first player for me that's still marinating is DeAndre Hopkins. Oh. Now, I love DeAndre Hopkins. He's a super talented player. He has some of the most incredible catches I've ever seen. But he hasn't had that great of a season. I know he had the 27-point week 1, all right? I know that. But
His point totals following that are 6.5, 9.7, and 4.6. That is not what we drafted DeAndre Hopkins for. But I'm not dropping DeAndre Hopkins. I'm still starting DeAndre Hopkins every week. I know how good he is. I know how good his quarterback is. This is not going to continue. DeAndre Hopkins will finish the season as a wide receiver 1, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah, and unlike quarterback where you could stream that position, you're not doing that at wide receiver.
Yeah. You know what you should do is go to your friend that owns DeAndre Hopkins and trade him something cheap. Go get DeAndre Hopkins.
I would say that's the case
cheap.
for every one of these players we talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
My first player that's still marinating is Allen Robinson. He's on the Bears, obviously, with Trubisky over there, who has been doing atrocious. Allen Robinson's the wide receiver 33. Like in the first 4 weeks of football. That's bad. That's wide receiver 3 numbers, and you don't start 3 wide receivers, so that's not good. That being said, he's the best wide receiver on that team. I don't think anyone's going to deny that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You can see it when you watch him play. Yeah.
He also has a 20% target share on that team and hasn't had a single touchdown yet. I think, that's obviously going to change. He's going to get touchdowns. That's going to boost those numbers up, and that 20% target share is fantastic. They're going to have to throw the ball because they've been losing, so they got to throw the ball to catch up. That's how football works.
Preach, brother.
So he's going to start making those catches. Trubisky's going to have to get him the ball. That's going to become their game plan in the future. And he's going to move up. And I think he's going to end up being, he's going to blow up to at least a wide receiver 2. I would say a high-end wide receiver 2. And with the numbers that he's going to have to get to move up there, that means that he's going to be putting up wide receiver 1 numbers most of those weeks to get to that point. Because of how he started out this week. So I got him finishing somewhere between wide receiver 14 to 20. And that's a player you want to target right now because, where he's at right now, they're fed up with him if they have him on their team.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Allen Robinson. I don't know what's wrong with Mitch Trubisky, to be completely honest with you. I was high on Mitch coming into the season, and that was why I was high on Allen Robinson. There's something wrong. They got to figure it out.
Yeah. Something's really nagging them, You like that? You like that?
That was good. That was really good. All right. If you didn't get that joke, the head coach of the Bears is Matt Nagy. It's really funny, actually. All right. My player that's still marinating that I know is going to turn out real good is Odell Beckham Jr. All right. I know everybody's concerned about Odell Beckham and what he's been giving us here.
I'm actually one of them.
Yeah. Listen, we knew that there was going to be a production drop-off going to the Browns because there's more mouths to feed, man. Nick Chubb is a fantastic player. He's doing really well, right? They're not going to stop giving him the ball and give it to Odell Beckham more because it's working, right? Jarvis Landry is a very, very talented wide receiver. He's been doing it just as long as Odell Beckham Jr. He was drafted in the same year. He has always been a target magnet because he moves the sticks. He gets first downs. That's why they throw to Jarvis Landry all the time. But I still think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to end up as a number 1 wide receiver by the end of the season. His targets so far this year are 11, 10, 9, and 7. I know that that's going down. I'm fully aware of that. But I think around the 9 to 11 targets is going to be kind of the norm for him going forward. He's going to get those targets. Baker Mayfield's going to get better, right? It's the same thing with Mitch Trubisky. I'm sorry to all those Baker Mayfield lovers, but Baker Mayfield has been trash. He has been a trash fantasy quarterback.
Whoa, careful there, Rex.
Hey, preach, Rex Ryan. All right, preach the truth. Let's all stop pretending that Baker Mayfield is elite. All right.
Real quick, after the whole beef back and forth between them, and oh my God.
They shotgun beers and now they're best friends.
No. What's the quarterback's name that you're speaking of right now? I just
Baker
forgot.
Mayfield?
Yeah, wow.
Whoa.
Baker Mayfield said he didn't care what Rex Ryan thought because he's not wearing brown and orange. The next day on TV, Rex Ryan wore a brown and orange suit.
Nice. Well, Rex Ryan, as much of a joker as he is, and we like to mess around, make jokes about him, he's right. Baker Mayfield is overrated this season. I know how good he was last season, but he's letting you down as fantasy owners because you own him and because we also own Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. is still talented. He's healthy. He's going to start scoring touchdowns. I promise you. Please keep starting Odell Beckham Jr. If you don't own him, go out and try and trade for him.
No, so I know even before the season started, I was lower on Odell Beckham than most of the fantasy rankings, and this was exactly my point. Was all of these players can't be fed as much as where they're being ranked,
Right?
And I still think that I agree with you. I think he'll be a low end wide receiver 1, which I think is still going to disappoint anyone who drafted him because you
10 to 14
for him. Yeah,
I think you're looking at wide receiver 10 to 14 by the end of the season.
Yep.
But would you? I guess my point here, Justin, is would you be surprised if Odell Beckham finishes a wide receiver 7?
Would that be at this point? I would. I would at this point. And it's not a tell on Odell Beckham. I think it's more of a tell on the Browns and Baker. But I will say I think this week on Monday Night Football will be a deciding factor. They're going to play 49ers who have a good defense, a very good defense. Seeing how they perform against that good defense, I think that's going to be a tell on where he's finishing.
I still currently wide receiver 25.
Yeah, he's definitely going up.
My whole point, yeah, he's going to finish much, much higher than that. Keep starting Odell Beckham Jr. If you can go trade and have ODB as your number 2 wide receiver, I think you're looking pretty good at that point.
All right, I got one for you here. My last one, and this is still marinating here. Courtland Sutton.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Courtland Sutton has had 7 targets, at the least 7 targets in the first quarter so far of the season, and 4 catches every game, and quite a bit more than that in a couple of the games. And he's done this with like Emmanuel Sanders there, who has looked great. Emmanuel Sanders, he's amazing. Both of them are amazing, but I think that the value you're getting for Courtland Sutton is way more. Like Emmanuel Sanders was being drafted quite a bit before Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton still a lot of people are sleeping on. And I think that you could get him off waivers, which is crazy for the value he has there. And you could probably trade for him for next to nothing. And I think he's the wide receiver 14 currently.
15.
15? Okay. Yeah. So, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think he could go up to the wide receiver 12 maybe by the end of the season, which is amazing for how little you're gonna have to pay to get him. He could be a top a wide receiver 1 or 2, high end wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 1, and that's we're talking about Odell Beckham Jr. and you got a Courtland Sutton who's gonna finish probably around the same spot as Odell Beckham at the end of the year.
He could.
And that name value, you're not paying for. And that's what I love about him.
Yeah. Something you didn't mention about Courtland Sutton also is he's peppered with targets in the end zone.
Yeah, he is.
Courtland Sutton would be a wide receiver 1 right now if he had caught 1 more or 2 more of the 6 end zone targets that he's had.
Yeah.
like the reason he had 21 points last week was because of the 2 end zone targets he got, he finally caught both of them, right?
Right.
So if you have a player that's getting like 2 end zone targets a game, that is a player that needs to be owned. And thank you for the tip, Justin. I just picked up Cortland Sutton in my league.
Damn it.
I literally just picked him up while you were talking.
Yeah, I saw you. I'm like, Perry's clicking on something. I'm like, what? He must be looking up some sort of stat on Cortland Sutton right now.
Mecole Hartman is now available.
Oh, sweet. It's okay. I got another player in mind right now that I'm going to be picking up as soon as we finish here.
Man, I've got all the wide receivers right now.
All right. Well, that's everything for our show. We appreciate.
Whoa.
Wait. Whoa! No, there is more. Oh my God,
Whoa.
that's right.
I know you want to forget about this player or this piece of food because it's almost expired, right?
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay went out in the kitchen and is looking around and is like, why is this in here? I'm going to tell you. You want me to tell you mine is?
Yeah.
All right. My player that's almost expired. Almost. It means, man, this better work out right now. Like, I better eat this right now or I'm throwing it out. And that's Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson, I still dream of that 75-yard touchdown catch that wins me my league. I know it's there. He still has it. But, man, he has to be on the field for that to happen.
Right.
Right? If he's healthy, it's really hard for me not to, like, at least pay attention. But that little window of love that I still have for Deshaun Jackson is slipping away. It's expiring. And I hope that we see some of that magic again. But, man, I don't know if we're going to. I think we might be missing Deshaun Jackson as an actual fantasy talent going forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's he had that glimmer of hope at the beginning of the season, but yeah, he's about to expire if you don't.
He's got to be healthy, man.
Yeah, and like you said, be on the field.
Yeah, be on the field.
Sorry, I was a little bit distracted there. I just picked up or dropped Sony Michel and picked up Alexander Madison. I was like, you know what? You're right, Perry. I have Dalvin Cook. If he goes down, I need Alexander Madison. Yeah, so I actually did not save the player I was going to talk about for the about to expire. I just saw in my notes. That's why I thought the show was ending. So I kind of screwed that one up.
Wow, that's embarrassing.
I know.
Embarrassing for you.
But so, yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to agree with you on yours, and we'll move on.
Okay.
All right. What are you so next show we're doing on Friday, we're bringing Darian on.
Yeah.
He's in our main league, so that'll be, our first guest, so that's exciting.
I have a favor to ask all our listeners too. We really want to make Darian feel welcome. And Darian is a planetary geologist, so he loves rocks. So if all of you could please leave comments on this episode, tweet at us, however you can get a hold of us, pictures of rocks, so we can ask Darian, what kind of rock is this?
Yeah, he loves identifying rocks.
He loves it when people ask him, what kind of rock is this? So just send a picture of a rock. Let's find out if Darian knows what kind of rock it is.
Yeah, we'll really test him.
The more creative you get, the better.
All right, well, that does it for the show. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you on Friday.
Peace out.